Hi, Pat, my friends, and I'm so nice to see you through this video conference. I remember when we had lunch about before Christmas, you and I talked about we should get together in Barcelona. Things changing so fast, and but I remember the topic we discussed should be continued. Now we are doing in this fashion, and both of us we are students of this IT, TCP/IP, Internet revolution, and you have enormous career. So I really want you see the comparison. What happened 30 years ago when TCP/IP protocol becomes standard? It was creating enormous technology revolution, and we all benefit that. The world benefits that. And I'm thinking about maybe we can see some comparison. 30 years ago and 30 years now. That's the Chinese word saying 30 years on the Eastern River side, 30 years on the Western River side. So 30 years is magic numbers.
Well, Edward, it's a pleasure to be with you virtually this way. You and I have known each other for many years. We're veterans of the industry. I guess that's a way of saying we're old. But we have seen, the early days of the internet to today, and really, having participated now, it's my 40th year in the industry, having seen the internet, TCP/IP. In fact, I was just on the phone this past week with Vint Cerf, right?
Yeah, Vint Cerf. I heard he got some, stake or something. I read some news, but I remember when I met him, he was with MCI, and an enormous guy.
Yeah, he's at Google now, and he and his wife both had COVID, a mild case, but he's well. But we were just reflecting on some of the early days of the internet together, and how this idea of universal connectivity, and I think in that, that is this core idea, the geometric power of universal connectivity. And that was really the core, that anything could talk to anything. And as a result of that, right, you weren't just limited by point-to-point connectivity, right? You weren't limited by any point of failure as well. Yeah. And that created, right, this enormous explosion. And I remember the first time I used a web browser, my first Netscape experience. Yeah. Right, and it was just like, wow, I'm remotely being able to control and talk to, and boy, what a 3 decades it's been since some of those early events.
I also remember at that time, AsiaInfo just started, and when I first time 30 years ago and look at the Chinese character can be displayed on the old Unix server, it was such emotion moments. And my founder, my co-founder, James Dean, and we said, we need to bring this internet home. And let's 1 billion Chinese connected this enormous network. And I feel, now we have another mission from connecting people to connect things. Now we're talking about the trillion, maybe multi-trillion connectivities. And I think that's probably a vision of 5Gs. That's something we started, but haven't finished. That's why I think the next maybe 10 or 15 years is going to be more exciting.
Yeah, and it really is, because today with 4G and LTE and all the things that we've done, about 60% of the planet today is connected. Right? Yeah. Estimates would say that by 2030, 90% of the planet will be connected. Which That's to me, there's something just magic. When you cross over 50%, that means 50% of humanity is your target market, right? And now we can sort of say, hey, we're on the way to have 90% of humanity. We're more connected than ever in humanity.
Exactly.
At this point. But then it's sort of, as you said, what's next? And truly, I think this idea of 5G being not consumer driven, right? As 4G and LTE were, but becoming much more business driven, right? And this idea of connecting things. And, that really, I think, is the enabler of what will drive, autonomous vehicles and smart streets and buildings, right? New manufacturing techniques. And, I remember joking, I was at the World Economic Forum and I got on the debate with about self-driving vehicles. And I said, the technology isn't good enough yet. And I really don't think it will be good enough until 5G, where the latency and the bandwidth are high enough. Because it doesn't matter if it works on a sunny, clear street. It only matters when it's on a rainy, foggy, difficult street. That's when it matters. And that's where you need the connectivity, you need the bandwidth, you need the latency. And that's truly where I think 5G truly enables use cases that really, we've theorized today, but won't be practical until it's broadly deployed.
Exactly. And, I was a student of ecology. I spent 5 years in the Western Texas, studied 2 species of grass. And through that 5 years, I knew how little we know about our plants, about the trees, about the grass. I'm thinking then those things of everything will be connected. If we achieve those connected things, it will be internet of trees, internet of pigs, and then all those living things will be connected. Plus those cars. I think world will be changing fundamentally, and this is why I think 5G is such exciting. And I remember first time I met you, you were CTO for Intel, enormous company. You build such fundamental technology platform. You created a horizontal model. Mm-hmm. That horizontal model and open the computing, open PC, created this personal computer was also laid a foundation for internet. Did you see some comparisons and those vertical integrated telecommunication industry will be open?
Yeah. And, I think this is very much one of the key aspects, because it isn't just what 5G enables, but it's how we build 5G.
That's right. Well.
And that's where, if we go back 20 years, before the cloud, right, all of the computing systems were vertical, right? You had a Sun Spark system, you had an HP, you had a Superdome, right? And they had unique software and unique applications, and every one of those dedicated vertical solutions. And what the Intel platform enabled was a horizontal platform that says, the hardware, right, is independent of the infrastructure and of the application environment. And fundamentally, that's what enabled the cloud, right? We would not have the cloud today unless we had that horizontal scale capacity and we were still trying to do scale up. Well, the thing about 4G and 3G and LTE is they're built in a vertical way.
Yeah.
Right. And that constrains a hardware binding with infrastructure software, with applications and use cases. That becomes highly limiting in terms of the innovation, in terms of the scalability of that architecture. And that's why we say we have to move from vertical to horizontal. We have to go from hardware defined to software defined. We have to go from vertical systems to distributed systems, and we have to create an open software-driven ecosystem. And that's exactly the path that we're on, and working, with the global providers to enable NFV, right, virtualizing the core, open RAN architectures, and enabling an end-to-end software architecture. Because then, not only, right, can we do the network better, but we can also have edge clouds, telco cloud, private clouds, and public clouds that all can connect with each other and scale and interoperate with each other. And that's truly what will enable the vision that you're just describing, as we say, the Internet of Things, not just the Internet of People.
Yeah, another thing right now, and I talk with many telecom executives, and also plus my former company now is a part of China Unicom. People saying we invest enormous money on 5Gs, but what's the applications? And if we compare what's happening on the PC industry, I remember it was a similar arguments. You build a PC, what's going to do with PC? Yeah. And I remember birth of spreadsheet, fundamental change in the PC industry, really from personal to the workplaces.
Yeah.
And what I'm thinking nowadays, what is the spreadsheet of 5Gs. And in the last couple months, it's very interesting. As ended of this coronavirus, the Chinese economy has been, the model has been changing. So new thinking is called the new digital infrastructure project. I'm visited a number of mayors and governors. I'm pretty excited. The new application for 5G, open 5G, could be enormous. I think the two examples right now I'm participate with AsiaInfo. I'm also working with your local team, see how can we build a private 5G network for new hospital. All hospital, the design in Guangzhou province, new hospital, sensor will be infrastructures. The camera and will be integrated part of their hospital facilities. And you number one, you get a lot of information, you got enormous, storage, and you need a very flexible software-defined network. So I'm thinking about this vertical industry, but that will be connected, will be today's like a spreadsheet, because that is a fundamental changing the way of industry works. And I really like your 4 clouds, strategy. I will, on top of 4 clouds, I also want to add one more cloud, vertical clouds. Vertical clouds for hospital, vertical clouds for the parking lot. You can see the once things will be connected, like a PC, you build windows, you build the doors, then each application would be, thrive on top of that open 5G platform.
Yeah, and a couple points to add there, Edward, right? One is this idea of private 5G, we think is a very powerful idea where, right, you're able to look at a factory, you're able to look at a municipality, you're able to look at a campus, and you sort of say, oh, we're going to, operate that on the same 5G technology, but it won't be dependent on a carrier delivered. I'm going to operate it as an enterprise IT. I'm going to make it, part of what I do, right, for my business. And, right, one of the other things that I was, in my career, I helped to create as well was Wi-Fi.
That's right.
Wi-Fi is, right, and I have a couple of patents hanging on my wall for Wi-Fi and some of the work that we did to standardize Wi-Fi. And we all know how critical that's been to enable connectivity. But in many respects, I believe that private 5G will actually end the reign of Wi-Fi for local connectivity, right? Because it's a better network, right? It has greater security, right? Greater scalability, connectivity capability. So I think in this regard, this idea of public and private 5G, right, becomes a very, very powerful enabler of a better connectivity technology that will be uniform as we go from factories to municipalities to global access as well. And I do also, very much believe that that's going to be one of the key things that enable some of these vertical clouds to emerge, whether it's a hospital cloud, an education cloud, whether it becomes a smart city cloud. All of those are going to be use cases of this end-to-end infrastructure that we're building.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And the things I'm pretty excited about this, China is a great place for those pilot projects. The city is large and the mayor is very powerful. If they want to change the way of their managing city, I told the mayor of Beijing, you need a nerve system. You want your city like human beings. And one way to do that, you need, build this enormous connectivities. So I think this is sometime history really repeats itself. And I really feel this is VMware, and you already done wonderful job. And in China, we can work together and really participate again in this new connectivity revolution, and also solving fundamental problems. City like Beijing, 20, 30 million people. How this city could be truly smart? I think they need private 5Gs.
Yeah, and I'm excited about it as well. And obviously, VMware, we're a global company. We have big, Vodafone in Europe has bet on us entirely as they're building their network and the 5G. We have U.S. Partners, others in Asia. But, various estimates show that China will probably be, an order of magnitude larger in terms of deployed 5G RAN and base stations than the U.S. market, which is well ahead of any place else in the world. So, the magnitude, right, of what China is undertaking with its 5G infrastructure build out, is just tremendous. And we are very, very excited to partner with you and others in China to be a part of building that infrastructure. But as you say, it's also very powerful municipalities, mayors who are, have a vision for what they're going to do in their city and really being able to leverage private 5G. So we're thrilled to be a technology partner with AsiaInfo, with the Chinese telecom providers, the cloud providers as well, but then really building some of these projects at scale. And we're going to learn a lot. We're going to solve new technical problems in the process and create world-leading technology that truly will connect every human and everything on the planet.
Exactly. I'm very excited too. I think there's, I think, a lot of people are also worry about this U.S.-China, relationship. And people like you and I, if we go back to 30 years ago, that time, today's that time much, much worse. And so I think, we are entrepreneur. We are, building enormous technology platform as long as market need it. I think I really believe with technology, good products will prevail. So I hope to see you in person. And, I think this is also fundamental things changing that we can move to meeting like this from offline to online, then online to offline. And this is also very interesting new way of, share the knowledge, conduct the conference. I think that's also quite interesting, experience for me.
Yeah, and I think in some ways, hey, we would all prefer to be in person, right?
Yeah.
Shake hands and, be able to, be in the room and have a great Chinese meal together. But we also realize that, boy, I can be more places this way.
That's right. That's right.
This morning I was in Germany and I was in UK and I was on the East Coast, the West Coast, and tonight I'm in China, right? Wow, and the fact that we could shift to a distributed workforce so effectively because of the IT investments we've been making over the last decade and two together, it really is quite amazing. And I'll just say, for us as a company, we are deeply committed to our ongoing participation in the Chinese market. We have presence in R&D, sales, support presence in Beijing, Shanghai, and offices throughout the country. We've built very critical and long-term relationships with Chinese companies. We're thrilled to just say, politics and geopolitics will come and go over time, but technology rises as a unifier of the globe, right? And I always like the Thomas Friedman book, The World is Flat. Right? In that sense where, boy, in an internet connected world, we're all connected on a very, very short, connectivity. And the fact that we can be doing this, being a ocean apart, but it's like we're next door to each other, just underscores the power of open technology collaboration on a global scale. And that's what we're committed to. And independent of some of the to and fro of the political environment, as I would say, we're going to be there for decades to come and participating. A couple of years ago, we were in China for one of our sales club events where we celebrated our sales, and we rebuilt a section of the Great Wall. And in that,
I remember that. That's wonderful, wonderful things.
Yeah. Right. And, we put a marker there showing where VMware was, built a section of the Great Wall. And my commitment to China is like the Great Wall. We will be here for many decades and centuries to come, participating in building a shared technology future together.
Wonderful. That's, we are great partners. We're going to have a long-term journey. And when I look at this enormous O-RAN 5G projects, we are doing application softwares. I need a good partner and can build a fundamental infrastructure software. I really think the new partnership and plus our friendship together really can, begin to open new horizon. Like you said, the new model will emerge, enormous application will be developed, and vertical clouds will be changing every vertical industry. And with right partnership, China is a good place.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can't do a handshake or a hug, but thank you for.
Thank you, my friends. Look, I'll see you soon in person one day.
I look forward to that. Thank you.